Hello, boys and girls. It is time for Writer's Workshop. This is Miss Alpine here, and today we will continue talking about narrative writing. But we're going to talk today about how we can energize our narrative writings with powerful verbs. So, of course, we remember that a narrative is a story, and it has a clear beginning, middle, end. In the beginning, we want to develop our characters, then we want to go into the problem, and at the end, we want to have a solution. And every good narrative should have transitional words that help us with sequencing. So we want to include words like first, next, then, and finally. Now, when we go to craft our narratives, remember, we want to think about a roller coaster. We're going to start by introducing our characters and setting up the problem. Then we want to develop our characters and really develop the events that happen. We're going to increase that suspense until we get to the dun dun dun, to the plot. And then after that, we need to have some kind of falling action with the resolution. And we're going to tell the reader how we solved the problem in the story. But my question is, how do we really create this suspense? Well, the way you can create it is by using strong, powerful verbs. Now, we know that a verb is an action, and we can say things like the verb kick, catch, run, leap, dive, jump, stomp, flip. Those are all action verbs. But here's the thing. Some verbs are better than others. And we want to make sure we are finding powerful, strong verbs as we're writing our narratives. So I want you to think about verbs as like a battery. They are really the energy or maybe the engine in a sentence. And without them, we don't have a sentence. Nothing's going to happen. The noun, the subject, they're not going to do anything. So we really have to have verbs, and not only verbs, but strong verbs to really put a picture in the reader's mind about what the character is actually doing. So let's take a look at this image right here, for example. Well, I see a lot of verbs happening in this image. But, I wonder how I could describe this. Let's see. I'm going to start making a list. Now, I might have some weak verbs, and if I have some weak verbs, I want to come up with some strong verbs. So what do I notice? Well, first, obviously this kid, he jumps over the other kid. Okay. Maybe he pushes off of the other kid's back. Wow, this kid is bending over, so he bends. That's an action. Oh, but look at this. He's the kid up here, he looks up into the sky and he smiles. And it kind of seems like he flies over him. Well, these are all actions, right? These are action verbs. And they're not bad, but they are a little weak. If I went to write sentences to describe it, I might say, he jumps over the boy and pushes off of his back. The other boy bends down. He looks up at the sky, smiles as he flies through the air. Okay, that's okay. But I wonder if I can come up with some stronger verbs. Well, what's another verb? I want to think of a synonym for jumps. I got it. What if he leaps over them? Well, and instead of pushes, what's another word for pushes? A synonym? How about presses or thrusts? And this kid, instead of bending, maybe I could describe that as he like crouches or tucks himself into a ball. And instead of looks, I could say gaze. He gazes at the sky. Do you see how much more powerful these words are? And then smiles, I could say as he grins happily. Oh, and look at this. Rather than he flies over him, I could say he glides over him. So again, all of these are verbs. But honestly, these are kind of weak verbs. They might be verbs that, I don't know, a first grader would use. So we want to come up with some strong third grade, powerful verbs for this particular image. And when we go to write strong verbs, what we would do from there, if you're going to create a narrative, you could take these verbs and include them as you're describing what's happening in a narrative. And that would give a really good image in the reader's mind. And that will create voice in your writing. And it also is really about good word choice when we talk about the traits of writing. So let's take a look at what your assignment is for today. For your assignment, you're going to do the same thing that we just previewed right there. You're going to first, and here's our assignment details, you're going to look at the image. What action verbs do you notice? Oh, so let's look here. I see a lot of things happening. Well, I've already created some weak verbs over here, but the directions are going to tell you to type a strong verb for each of the weak verbs that are given. So maybe, what's another synonym for yells? And then you're going to type that in here. Or holds. So it looks like they're all kind of like holding on. What's another word for holds? That's a stronger verb. Spins, laughs. Can we think of stronger action verbs? Maybe a synonym for spins and a synonym for laughs. And you're going to type those in here. You're welcome to add more weak verbs or more stronger verbs over here as well. All right, so come up with those strong verbs and let's go be writers.